It's looking good. Yay for me. I am excited. I have been working with Stephanie Garcia on, oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. Yay for me. This has been a journey. So today I am popping in live because I want to tell my personal story because a lot of people tend to see me and say, oh, she's doing all these things. And, um, there was a lady that commented on one of my posts yesterday, and she was saying that, what was holding her back. Hey, I couldn't get people to collaborate with me. I knew I had really, really great ideas. I did. But I don't know that, people for especially in the education profession, I don't know if former educators, current educators have this idea about how things look. Just because you have a small audience does not mean that you can't get some value. You can't pick up new people that are following you. And I think that's a mistake in the education field. So I'm just going to give my story of, you know, um, when I started my business, part of the challenges of starting that business and now starting a business to where I help educator professionals who are business owners who want to create their own virtual workshops, live streams, or webinars. Right now, I'm focusing on workshops, but I do help educators with live streaming and webinars. And that is the way that I grew my audience. So for me, I am a teacher, a current teacher, and I've been teaching for 24 years. This is my 24th year in education, and I'm a math educator. Math is a controversial subject anyway because it a lot of people have opinions about mathematics. Let's say that. I'll say that. They have opinions about mathematics and how we're supposed to teach it. Well, the biggest issue is that America is not doing well in mathematics. And it's the way that we approach math in a way, especially for minority children, where it just does not work for them. And I've seen this, I've worked in a couple of states and I've seen it everywhere. Math is seen as a gatekeeper subject. And I knew that starting my business, my way of teaching mathematics is not the mainstream way of teaching math. It's not. I created the math intervention cycle, and it is a cycle to where it encompasses that tier one instruction, just basic instruction, and then it incorporates project based learning, response to intervention, which is your math intervention, and the technology piece. So it's a complete way to teach mathematics, but I focus specifically on the math intervention piece. So when I started out, it was very, very difficult because a lot of people did not want to collaborate with me. And I was in this program and they were saying, well, get people to collaborate with you and have this, you all do virtual events together. That never happened for me. So, what I did know how to do is present workshops because I had been doing in person workshops. And what I do know how to do is teach too, whether you're an adult or a student. So, what I did is, I had grown my email list to about 3,000 teachers at the time. And I started playing around with different ideas. One of the challenges in being an educator and a business owner is that not every business model works with education. It has to be tweaked. That's one of the things that I learned, or lessons that I learned early on, is that you can't implement it. And I guess that's in any business. You can't implement it just like it is. It has to be tweaked. You have to know your audience. But it took me years to understand the adult learner versus the student learner and the business model. So, those are three different variables that you're dealing with when you are an educational business owner. So, I figured those things out and I started playing around with the $5 workshop. Marketing is hard. I don't care what business you're in. It is difficult. It's a difficult thing to do. So, what I did is I started looking at the two different types of marketing, meaning you're going to either have a high price um, offer, which I knew my audience was not going to be able to afford that, and that would take just a few people to purchase, or you could have a low ticket offer which focused on volume. So that was the way that I decided to go starting my business out. So with that, I started playing around with the $10 workshop. Who has, I mean, we most teachers spend 10 bucks um at Starbucks. So I started playing around with that. There is no overhead really for workshops. I started out real simple. I started out on YouTube, where YouTube was live, and I would put a link, and I started out on Facebook before they started this foolishness with, oh, you got to have 100 subscribers. So that's what I did. And I grew it, started live streaming. It's a constant putting yourself out there, and me learning that there were actual people that wanted to hear what I had to say. Because if you're an educator, you are led to believe that you are a low man on the totem pole. And a lot of times you don't have value unless you're an administrator, and that's not the truth. So it helped me flourish in my classroom, as well as really drowning out the naysayers in my school who did not want to do things differently, because I knew I had an audience of over about 20,000 people who wanted to hear what I had to say. It gave me the courage to go back to my classroom and try different things to help my students learn, because I've always worked in schools where 80% of my students were working below grade level and have had good success. So, if you are an educational professional, if you are starting out and you're thinking, I can't get people to show up, the first thing is you showing up. The second thing is actually getting some help. Don't try to do it on your own. I know from the teacher world, we are used to for the free. That is not the same in the business world. It's not for the free. You're going to have to pay to train yourself. I am not going to say how much money I have spent on getting my business up and going, but it's an investment. And educators, we have been trained to not invest and become beggars, I guess, lack of a better word, and asking people for stuff. No, in the business world, you have to pay for training. And the third thing is download my virtual workshop word download my virtual workshop roadmap, and it is the teach model. I adapted it to help business owners craft a workshop that actually is profitable. So if you download that, start following me, um, get some training from an educator that actually knows what it's like. I know what it's like to be in your shoes. You don't have followers. You know you have great ideas, but here's the thing, nobody knows you're there. But that's my story, and I hope it has helped someone understand that you're not alone in that struggle trying to start up. If you just transition from education, you said you had enough, I get it. If you retired and said I had enough, got it. If you're a higher ed professional and you're saying that this world of politics, it has become too much for you, I get that too. And if you're watching this, you are in the right place. So that's all I have for today. If you are one of those people, don't forget to either follow me on one of my platforms, Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, not Twitter, LinkedIn. I'm moving my things over to LinkedIn, or YouTube. You can find me there. All of my replays are there. I always go live to YouTube just in case you want to find me there and you're working. So, download my virtual workshop roadmap, and I'll see you all in my next live stream. Bye bye.